It's time to talk fantasy football. It's time to let them know. Where you let us crunch the numbers while you crush the competition. So grab your playbooks and crack a cold one, because here's your hosts, Teak and Baney.
Hey, week 3, we're already starting in the I formation here because we got some new things coming for you. We got a mailbag segment before we get into the starts. But before that, any games that stood out to you, Badge, from week 2 that, you like seeing or you were surprised about?
I mean, not that I like seeing it, but I'm very surprised about the Saints team. I mean, I was all over Big D this week, and are the Saints for real? That's my biggest question. A lot of upsets. The Raiders beating the Ravens in the bank, in the Ratbird cage. Those were a lot of surprising games to me.
I think my favorite was probably the Atlanta game. Uh,
Doubt.
a lot of hate, coming my way on that Monday before the game even played. Uh, I just was humble about it. I took it all in, and everything came full circle. So
I mean,
that's why.
I wouldn't say humble, but we got a quote. I won't say it on air, but you know what I'm talking about. We got an Eagles fan at work that was chirping, so you don't need to be humble. When they chirp, you got to give it to them. You sat back, did your thing, let them talk, and then you blew it up. So no shame in that.
Exactly. But we're gonna move on to the mailbag here, um, and then we'll answer this question, and we'll get right into the starts here.
Hey, old time.
Yo, what up, Buttermilk Podcast? My question to you guys is which 2-0 team do you find are lucky to be 2-0, and which 0-2 team do you think is going to make a bounce back? Let me know.
Badge, you want to start this one off?
Yeah, I'll start. We'll go with the 2-0 team, and then before I get in the 0-2, you can take that, and then we'll jump into the 0-2. So I wouldn't say lucky. I would say surprised. And I'm very surprised the Minnesota Vikings are 2-0. So they just upset the 49ers. I mean, Super Bowl runner up. Darnold, he's playing with some confidence. I mean, everyone was panicking about Justin Jefferson's status or what's going to happen. Sam Darnold is quarterback. The guy's putting up some numbers and getting him the ball. I mean, so that to me, that big upset against the Niners, them being 2-0, that to me is the biggest surprise.
For me, do I want to go this route or do I want to keep it humble here on the podcast?
Go there. I got a rebuttal. You could say it. I got a rebuttal.
I'm gonna go with the Chargers.
Okay, that's what I thought.
I'm gonna go with the Chargers. That offense, man, I don't know how they're getting it done. They're playing some weak teams out there with the Panthers and so on, but hey, they're still 2-0. So
I mean, that was. Oh, go ahead.
I was just saying I'm not a fan of the wide receiving core, but it seems like they don't need the receiving core when J.K. Dobbins is rushing for 130 every game. So
yeah, that was actually a close second in mine, and I thought you were going to say the Pittsburgh Steelers. So to me, I'm not surprised. I mean, they're the second. They have the second least losses in the past 20 years. I mean, the coaching staff, they just know how to win. So I'm not surprised there. But yeah, the Chargers, they were that wide receiving core. We didn't know about the running back room. Yeah, so that was a close second for me.
All right. And then your 0-2 team.
So my 0-2 team, I'm sticking close to home in my division. That's the Baltimore Ravens. I mean, they're a Super Bowl favorite. Lamar Jackson, the reigning MVP. I mean, I'm not worried about them just because they're the Ratbirds. They're going to come back. They always do. They're going to bounce back. They're going to be fine. They're going to come back with fire. I hate to say it because I hate the team. I hate them. But they're going to be fine. So that to me is the biggest 0-2 team surprise.
Yeah, I'm on that same boat there. Um, some would also say Cincy, but something's going on in Cincy in my eyes. I don't like what's going on. A lot of pointing fingers over there. The biggest mistake I thought they made was not re-signing Joe Mixon. Um, but I felt like he was the glue guy there. And just everything that's going on with Jamar Chase is kind of weird. Um, so I'm staying away from Cincy, and I'm on that Baltimore train as well for 0-2.
Yeah, Cincy, you can feel just watching the game. You can feel there's a little bit of tension there. I mean, Joey Cool, he was MVP favorite this year. Something's going on internally, like Teak said.
But we're gonna jump right on over here to the starts. Thanks again for the question from
Yep.
Jeremiah. But week 3 starts, Badge. Who do you have?
So I'm going to jump right in and go to the quarterback position. So I'm starting Jared Goff at the Arizona Cardinals. So Arizona's given up 21 fantasy points in the first 2 weeks average to the opposing quarterback this season. I mean, Arizona, to me, their defense doesn't really have anything big to write home about. Dan Campbell is very, very, very good at bounce back games. They just lost at home, got upset at home. This is going to be a very exciting game. I actually took the over in it. I think there's going to be a lot of points. Fantasy owners for Goff, a lot of points, very good for us. So I got him in a league. I started him today in DFS. FanDuel, you can get Goff for $7,500 on FanDuel. Made a lineup today, started him. He has a huge bounce back game this week, puts up a lot of points.
Yeah, I don't know what was going on with Goff, but yeah, I can see him bouncing back. There's just too many weapons in Detroit that it's like almost impossible for them not to bounce back. I know a lot of people went, getting Sam Laporta, Kelsey high in these drafts, and as you can see, it's not the year for the tight end right now. Yeah, you could say it's only 2 weeks, but still, I think Laporta had like 2-3 points last week. So, and you could have stayed solid with Kyle Pitts later for a touchdown week 1 or even further down. I know Evan Ingram ain't doing nothing lately. Tight ends seem to be falling off this year for fantasy, but
just the passing in general, like they said, I saw a stat today. This is the lowest passing touchdowns through 2 weeks in like the past 5 years. So
yeah,
I don't know if the game's changing or.
and it's going back to running the football maybe. But for my start here, I got Rashee Rice. I watched this defense so far that Atlanta has, and all I want to say is I miss Ryan Nielsen because this Jimmy Lake defense is just not it. Rashee Rice is going to feast on this defense. This defense doesn't blitz much and gives QBs all day in the pocket. We saw that on Monday Night Football, and Mahomes is going to be the wrong person to do that with. Coming off a win with Philly, I think the Chiefs blow the doors off Atlanta this week, where Kansas City has a better offense and defense all around. So you're going to see him pressuring Kirk more often, which Philly couldn't do in that Monday night game.
Dang, going against your own squad, man. This could be a little reverse psychology, I think. I feel a little bit, huh? But yeah, I mean, you got to start Rice. Where you got him in drafts, I mean, I got him practically for free. So it is so nice to see him just shy of 20 points a game, 103 yards the first one, 75 and a tutty the second one. He's the clear-cut number one. I mean, I don't know why he was going so late. Everyone knew his suspension can't be effective until next year. So, yeah, I agree with the start. You got to ride with the hot hand.
It's going to be a little trend for me in my starts. But
got to have faith.
For your second guy here.
So my second guy, I'm going back to Dallas. So I'm going Derrick Henry at the Dallas Cowboys. So Dallas this year, most 2 games, I know, short games to go off of, but there's a trend. Most fantasy points to running back this year, 29.5. So they have been allowing an average of over 100 yards to the opposing running backs and 2 touchdowns per game to opposing running backs. So the only downfall with Henry is you're not going to get the receptions, the fantasy point receptions. However, I'm banking on a couple scores in that 100 yards. I even take 100 yards in a score, and I think that's going to happen. Baltimore is going to recognize this. They're going to pound the rock in the red zone. They're going to get down the red zone. I love Henry this week in the Dome. Sitting at $7,800 on FanDuel. Again, I put him in a lineup today, paired with my last start.
Yeah. They didn't use him last week at all. Like they need to go. They acquired him for a reason, and they didn't use that reason. With a guy that is massive running the football, he should at least be getting 15 to 20 carries a game.
Big dude, the king.
So
Still got it in the tank.
My second start here, I was big on him. I told you guys before drafts to lay off the big name tight ends, to wait for this guy lower in drafts. It's becoming a thing, me being a tight end guru here. Brock Bowers is my start for me. He's showing you what he could do. Almost 100 yards last week. He's the number 2 tight end in fantasy right now. He will continue the streak against a Panthers team that ranks 4th in fantasy points surrendered to defenses. I'm currently starting him over Kelsey and other big names and riding this wave. Like you said the keywords, Badge. My last start, hot hand. All my guys are hot hands right now, and I'm surfing on these waves.
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone in fantasy right now should be whoever plays Carolina, start him. Especially, I like this even more because Andy Dalton's playing, and I think he's going to actually make them a little more competitive in games than they actually been, which means they're going to keep throwing the ball. So Brock Bowers is going to get more targets. He seems to love this guy. So great size, great speed, putting up points, 18.8 points last week. Love it, especially against Carolina.
And then to wrap it up here for your third one.
So my third one is mainly a DFS start for me. I don't have shares of this guy, and I'm going Rashid Shaheed. So again, I don't have any shares. Super cheap in FanDuel, sitting at 6,300. Huge value there. Huge value. If you guys do have him in leagues, might consider a flex option. Last 2 games, 16.3 points and 21 fantasy points while scoring a touchdown in each. So Derek Carr seems to like Shaheed as a downfield option. He's throwing him the ball, big trust there. I expect this to continue against the Eagles, who allow the second most fantasy points so far to wide receivers, sitting at 34. So I'm taking the value here. Again, 6,300 points on or $6,300 on FanDuel. Great flex option this week. So I'm starting Rashid Shaheed.
What's nice is they're finally starting to look for him. He's just not a deep threat and big play guy anymore. They're getting the ball more and often, and he's showing he can handle that workload, which he went later in drafts for that reason, because he is a deep threat, but it's nice to see him getting more targets now.
And another one with Olave for sure. You got Olave. This is his week too.
My final one here, hot hand. This pick, Cleveland Browns fans will be sick to their stomach, because they are a franchise who struggles finding their guy under center. And I'm going Baker Mayfield. Currently QB1 in fantasy right now, boys. Baker Mayfield plays at home against Denver, team who's also struggling. I'm riding the hot hand in Tampa. It looks like this NFC South division is looking a lot better than people thought. Tampa, New Orleans, it seems like it's going to be a trend here for starts and sits with them. And I'm going to ride the wave with Baker. Baker's playing great football right now.
Oh, yeah. I've been seeing a lot of memes. I think I sent you one. Of the scene in The Hangover with Bradley Cooper saying, yeah, we messed up. And the Browns, come on, man, you did them dirty. Used to hate the guy. He kind of grew on me a little bit now. I mean, I'm glad he's out of the division. Glad I don't got to deal with him anymore. You messed up, Cleveland Browns. I like to start rolling hot hand in the hot Florida weather. Denver's defense secondary is a little. They can make some plays. That's the only thing that worries me. But you got to roll with Baker. You got to roll with the hot hand. Stick him in a FanDuel lineup, DraftKings lineup. If you got him, see who your other option is. Yeah, so I can get on board with that.
Shaker. Everybody gets on board with Shaker, man.
Yeah.
But why don't you take us away here, Badge?
All right, guys. Week 2, crazy week, weird week, surprising week. It's in the books. On to week 3. We love and appreciate you all. Guys, hit that subscribe button right now. Join the movement. Help the best kept secret get out. Drop your comments. Tell us what you want to see. Let us know. We'll let you know. Let us know what you want to know. That makes sense. So let's comment your starts and sits. Let's talk about it a little bit. So get involved. Guys, we appreciate you. Again, hit subscribe. Until next time.